Hello and welcome to another episode of the 20-somethings show here on Relufe TV. I'm your host, R to the E to the vitamin baby, and you know what we do here, we talk about quarter life issues and basically life in your 20s and basically navigating everything that comes with being a 20-something year old together. So here we talk relatable issues and you can be sure that you will find something that appeals to you. So stay with us as we get into the conversation for today. Now, today I'm going to be talking about something that I believe is a very defining factor for every individual, and that is failure. All right, but today we're going to be discussing how to deal with failure and how to learn from failure. Now, I believe that every single person at a point in their life has experienced failure, and that is okay. All right, but what matters and what sets successful people apart is their ability to learn from it and take charge of their lives from there on out. So you might have failed in your personal lives or in your professional lives or whatever, but that is never the end of your life. And you know, something that baffles me a lot is that we talk about failure as if it's such a bad thing, but then we forget that we're humans and failure is actually part of life, right? You know, we're not robots. And speaking about robots, even computers do have glitches sometimes, but I mean, you're not going to discard the computer simply because it had a glitch, but you're going to find ways, look for ways to salvage that situation and make sure that things get better with your computer. And that is how it is. That is how we're supposed to approach our lives as humans, approach failure as humans. A failure is not the end of your life. It is just what you do with it from that point that matters. And that actually is a testament to your growth as a person. In this episode, we're going to discuss ways to handle failure and how to navigate your life from, after you must have failed. And then the first thing we're going to talk about on the steps on how to navigate failures is the first thing, figure out what went wrong. Okay, as humans, sometimes we tend to exaggerate our capacities and capabilities. And then sometimes when things do not go as we have planned, we get bitter, we get sad because, we thought that we knew better, right? And so it's important for you to sit with yourself and find out what went wrong. That is always the first step to healing, So you have failed. Agreed. What went wrong? If you are not able to figure that out, then you're not going to be able to find out solutions. You're not going to be able to prevent yourself from making that mistake again. So first things first, figure out what went wrong, and then every other thing can fall in place from there. So after you figure out what went wrong, the next thing that you should do is find out what could have been done differently. You understand? So it is not wise to keep doing something the same way, the exact same way, and expect different results. So if a particular method has proven to you that it is not going to give you the results that you desire, then you should know that you're not supposed to keep using that method. You're not supposed to stick to that method. I mean, that is one thing about life that I think is beautiful. We always talk about how change is constant. And so you are not supposed to tie yourself to only one process. Do you understand? So once you figured out what went wrong, you figure out the, approach that you took that went wrong, try to think of something else. Try to think of doing something different. Do you understand? So do not insist on using that same method to solve your problems, even though that method has proven to be inefficient and ineffective. You're only going to sabotage yourself in the long run. All right. So first, figure out what went wrong. Second, find out what could have been done differently. The next thing you must do is commit to doing what is required. Of course, once you identify the reason you failed, you have to figure out what you could have done differently, and then start doing it. Do you understand? I mean, knowledge is only power when it is applied. We keep saying knowledge is power, but you can know all the things in the world, but the true power lies in doing what is required. Do you understand? Making use of the knowledge that you have and using it to get the results that you desire, right? So commit yourself to doing what is required. You're not going to cry your way into success. It never works like that. Life is not going to favor the wishful thinkers. Life is going to favor those who take action, those who make the decision to better their lives and actually work towards it. So you could be thinking, you could just be hoping, oh, I wish that this would happen. I wish that this could just, happen for me or stuff. But life is not going to favor that. Do you understand? So once you already know what you should be doing differently, do it. All right, take charge of your life, take control of what is left, and make the best of what you can from that. Okay, so you can talk a little, but get up and go get something done. So also, you have to invest your time and effort. And first of all, you need to understand that this is your life. You're living for yourself. Nobody's living for you. And even if you want to depend on people, to help you get the job done, you need to understand that people also have their own issues to deal with. So I do not believe that there's anybody who is going to put all their problems aside just to carry yours, all right? So of course it's important to have people who you can lean on in times of failures, but the responsibility to turn your life around lies in your hands primarily, all right? So you cannot blame anybody for how your life turns out, especially when you know that you have all the resources that you need to turn your life around. So if you do not make any action towards a turnaround for your life, you are going to wake up when you're old and realize that you just let time pass you by. You didn't actually do anything with your life. And trust me, that is not a great place to be in. I do not think that you should do that to yourself, right? So invest your time, invest effort at bettering yourself, all right? So next, pursue optimal results. Yes, sometimes we like to delude ourselves into thinking that we're doing our best when we even know that we have not given it even 20% yet. It is important to not lie to yourself. You can lie to every other person, but you cannot lie to yourself, because the results of the actions that you take are going to be seen in your life. All right, so if everybody thinks that you're working, everybody thinks that you're doing something, and the reality is that you're just there doing nothing, it's going to tell in your life eventually, and not in the life of the other people, because they are probably working to make their lives better. But this is your own life, so pursue optimal results. Give it your best. And so even if you happen to fail again, you know that you did not actually shortchange yourself. You know that it's not because you didn't give it your best. So at every point in your life, keep giving it your best. No grief for anybody, no grief for yourself, no grief for laziness, no grief for anything that does not want you to achieve your highest potential, right? So lock in, right? Lock in and make sure that you make that life that you want for yourself. And then the final thing is that you do not quit, you do not give up. You decide, tell yourself that you are not a failure, okay? Tell yourself that you are not a failure. I mean, one downtime does not necessarily define you. Personally, I believe that it is important to fail. Do you understand? It is important to fail. When you're trying out stuff, it helps you to know, what to do different. It helps you to see different perspectives to life. You get? So yes, it's important to fail. When you fail, don't always take it as a bad thing. Failure is not such a bad thing. It's a part of life, and it is necessary for your growth and character development as a person. So yes, you might keep going. You might fail 1,000 times, but do not stop. Fortune only favors the bold, right? When we think about, okay, let's take it back to Thomas Edison, the creator of the light bulb. It's recorded that he failed thousands of times when creating, the bulb, when trying to create it. But he didn't stop. He didn't stop there. And when he was asked, he said that he found thousands of other ways not to do it. Do you understand? That's all. It's his perspective to that failure that helped him to come out of it and, just do great things with his life. So how about we take it like that? When you fail, it's not that your life ended. It's probably that you just found out other ways that did not work, and so it led you to finding that one thing that worked out for you. So yes, do not write yourself off when you fail. Take the pieces of yourself, take it and just make lemonade out of your lemons, right? That's what we say when life throws lemons at you. You make lemonades. It is your responsibility to reinvent yourself. It is your responsibility to take charge of your life. So when you fail, don't just stop at failure. What next, right? All right, so before we go, I'm going to read this quote that I found somewhere on X. It says, find a way to get used to failing. You need to learn how to handle failure, and quickly. In real life, it is the people who understand how failure works that thrive. Speaking of which, failure or not isn't directly tied to your self-worth, and drop from that pedestal quickly. So this basically sums up everything that I have said so far. Failure is not the end of your life. I'm going to reiterate that failure is not the end of your life. So I don't know who this is for. You're probably going to see this at, a very terrible time in your life. But I'm here to tell you that it does not define you. All right. There's more to you than just that failure. There's more to you than just that downtime, right? So chin up, brace up. I mean, it's okay to cry, it's okay to sulk sometimes, when things do not go the way you expected it, but don't just stop there. There's a lot more to be done. There's a lot more to explore. So yes, in case this is you, we are rooting for you, and we cannot wait to see what your life eventually blossoms into. Yes, so thank you so much for watching. That's all we have for you today. Please, if this resonated with you, kindly leave a comment in the comment section. The comment section is for you. Please do not leave it empty. Like this video, share with your friends. You could share this to encourage somebody who's currently dealing with a downtime in their life and does not know how to come out of it, right? Yes, so subscribe to this channel and look forward to more from us. Thank you so much once again. I'm R to the E to the vitamin baby. Until I come your way another time. Bye.